when she says recording in progress. No,
And
but this,
Alessandra too, right? For
what's
meditation.
that?
Alessandra was there also, I think.
Where?
Thank you,
Oh,
Mary
this, no,
Rita.
that's right.
Meditation.
Like this is fantastic. Alessandra,
Yeah.
thank you. I almost messed that up. For sure. Okay, so this evening is dedicated. It's kind of like a reunion. A lot of us were there, but Roxanne, you weren't there. Gail, you weren't there. Bruce and Susan and Rachel. So we're going to and Alessandra, of course, we're going to catch you up on all of the fun and maybe some of the not so much fun, but mostly the fun that we had at Kallah this past week. But I'm going to start off tonight with those of us who were there naming all of the moshniks who were at Kallah. So, first of all, we have Janice, and we have Renee, and we have Judith, and we have Mary Rita, and we have Dan, and we have Mel, and we have Sandy. Okay, so that's seven. Seven of us were there. So let's name the other people who were there so that you all get an idea of how many moshniks were represented at the ALEPH Kallah.
Eliana,
Mitzi.
Mitzi,
I would have forgotten Mitzi. How could I
Scott.
do that? Scott. Is
Scott.
Who else?
Mira Bracha.
Amira Bracha.
Mary Gale.
Mira Gale is 12.
Scott,
Who'd you say?
Scott, Reader.
We got Scott.
Yeah.
Scott. Now on Shabbos, Judy was there, so I'm going to put Judy in a separate category. D came for Shabbos too. That's 2 on Shabbos.
And Miriam.
Miriam.
Miriam was there all week. Yep.
She was, oh God.
In fact,
So
Scott
that's
and
30.
Miriam took our class.
That's right. Anybody else? Who are we leaving out? I thought we had 1 or 2 more. Devorah.
Devorah
She's
left.
watching the video. She's going to be
Devorah
really
left.
PO'd.
Hi, Devorah.
And there's Scott.
Oh, hi, Scott. We were just talking about you.
Yeah, there's Scott, everybody. Oh, I'm not hearing any of the applause, but you must be hearing it. Okay, good. Scott, we are listing all the people that were there at the Kallah. Ah, yes, and you see my lower corner here. I put it up there. Oh no, my name is.
Do that again, Scott. Just a second. Hold that up.
Is it okay to stop wearing it now?
No,
No.
you have to wear it all over.
We have to
town.
wear it all the time.
All day, every day.
So before we go on, I do need to say something important. The winner of the who got the most people to sign up for MOSh mailing list because of that button. Can I get a drum roll, please? Thank you. The winner is, by unanimous consent, Dr. Dan Glazer, everybody. Dr. Dan wins a 1964 Tesla because he and the Tesla are ahead of their time.
Mark, tell them how many new names we have on the mailing list. Since
Yeah, so these are from the Kallah. I think we had 30 new names on the mailing list.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see how many people show up this Shabbos or subsequent Shabbatot. It's very exciting, very exciting. Okay, did anybody else come to mind who was there? So let me know and shout it out because I got a 14.
One more person was there, Ellen Weaver.
Ellen!
Yes.
Woo!
Nice job, Ellen Weaver.
Very good, very good. Just for that, you win.
She was also in our class, actually.
That's right. So that's 15 and
And
2.
Carl and Debbie.
Oh my God! See, I knew there were more. The Vineyards.
And did you
So
say
that's 17.
Oh, and
Did you say
Shosh Levy.
Show, show
How could we forget? That's 18. That's getting closer to what I thought it was going to be. Okay, we're good. We're good. So I want to start us off tonight with a bang. And what I mean by that is, remember last Shabbos, Renee and I sang Adon Olam to Stars and Stripes Forever, right? Because it's our minhag, our custom to do that on the Shabbat before July 4th. Why? Because our wedding anniversary is on July 4th. And this year, was our 30th wedding anniversary. Wait, I just remembered who else was there. Because she took the video I'm about to show. Chaya Lerner. How could we have forgotten Chaya? Wait, I think Aura Ohuvia counts as
Oh, she counts. She comes to most.
yeah, I think she does. So that's 20. She's been with us a number of times. All right, great. All right, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to optimize it for a lot of stuff here. And then I'm going to show you, where am I? Here we go. So on Tuesday night, Tuesday, of course, was July 4th, our wedding anniversary. On Tuesday night, wait! How? We are in such big trouble. Shulamit!
20. I knew we made it to
That's
20.
21.
21 with Aura.
Wow. Oh, right, with Aura. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. So on Tuesday night, on our anniversary night, Shulamit did a spectacular job of hosting a storytelling venue. And I told, and Renee told, and Shulamit told, and a couple of, well, it was only Dan, Rabbi Dan Goldblatt, I think, was the only
No,
other person.
and Jim Brule.
And Jim Brule told. Right. After I told, or maybe it was after you told, we sang this song. והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמזרח והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצוחק לי את שרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי ונאת כוסי ביומק בידו אגיד רוחי והייתי שם ביעירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירע. Thank you! There were how many people do you think? 125 people?
Oh, easily. Yeah. Singing along.
Singing along with us. So that is always a high point for Kallah for us of doing that. The other high point for me is getting to drive a golf cart and driving people around the campus where we are, because inevitably we're always singing something on those golf carts. It was very fun. So tonight we have a couple of people who were not there, a bunch of people who were there. I thought it would be very informal. And if you've got something to add as we go on, whatever we want, that happens to be the subject at the moment, just wave, just gesticulate wildly, or just interrupt, unmute yourself. And we will hear from as many of us who want to just share something. So it's very informal.
Mark, can I just say, this is really lovely. I was thinking there'd be a greater percentage of people who hadn't been to Kallah. But in fact, of the people who were at Kallah, I haven't heard what your Kallahs were like. So I'm really excited to get to hear how it was for everybody.
Me too. So let me show a couple of slides, and then we'll open up, I'll stop the slideshow and then open it up to anybody who wants to share. So I start with maybe the most important slide. A lot of selfies going on here. So that must have been on our anniversary, because that's when I wore my Nats shirt. Right? Now, this was on Wednesday night. Judith, you want to say a little bit about what we're looking at here and what the night was?
Well, that's a band I joined. We call it the ALEPH Board Band. And the woman on the far left is Aura, and she represents the past. And then in the middle is Chazan Stephanie Weishar from Maryland. She represents the future. And then there's me in the present. And this was a special event, a private event for the to honor the major donors of the ALEPH community. And I gave an award, which is an award I received at the last Kallah that I had the great honor to bestow upon Rabbi Marcia Prager. Do you have any photos of her?
I do.
Award
Yeah.
But yeah, there she is. It's beautiful. And her husband, Hazan Jack Kessler. And Reb Marcia is the founder of the ALEPH Ordinations program. So she is actually the person who has given the smicha and ordained our beloved Rabbi Mark and all the other, a lot of the clergy that we all know and love.
Oh, that's not, I didn't want to go that far.
Now she's in the program now. That was really
That's right.
Who's in the so yeah, it was a really special night, and I raised a lot of money, and it was really beautiful.
So we could count among us Elisheva as well, which would make 22.
Elisheva comes sometimes to
She does.
Yeah,
She does. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking of Elisheva, there she is, and she
Oh my
brought her
God.
rollerblades. Although I didn't see her. I didn't see her on rollerblades.
I
Did
saw
any-
her on roller
I
skates.
did.
That's awesome.
Mark, those are roller skates. Those are
Roller
proper
skates. Yeah,
Those are
yeah,
not
right.
rollerblades.
You're right, So I wish I had enough slides to have put them together according to how the week progressed. But let me just pull out of here for a second. And Renee and I and Janice and Judith, I think we all arrived on Sunday, didn't we? Right, just to get there a day early and for our teachers' meetings and lots of other preparation. Now we have to say right now what Janice's official job title was. She was the Tachlis Queen of this year's Kallah. Now,
Mark,
is there any?
Bruce might need a translation there.
Yeah, who doesn't know what a Tachlis Queen is? Okay, Mary and Gail, I spoke to you, and Mel. So Tachlis is like nuts and bolts, right? It's really getting down to the nitty gritty of anything. If you're talking tachlis with somebody, you're talking about how things are going to go and how you're going to prepare yourself and what for things. And so the tachlis queen is the one who makes sure that the Kallah does not fall apart. What are some of the things that you did, Janice?
God, you don't want to know.
I did a lot of behind the scenes work to help make Kallah run beautifully. The university threw us a lot of curveballs, and my job was catching them and juggling with them. And I juggled a lot of those curveballs. And
Like she won't toot her own horn enough. Janice really held the whole Kallah together from falling apart.
And she made the Shabbos especially beautiful. She transformed the plan.
so I ordered Shabbos dinner. We had a very nice Shabbos dinner. We all put white tablecloths out, and it was a very beautiful and meaningful Shabbat dinner. And basically just sort of helped keep things running smoothly for the whole week. There were many
Queen troubleshooter.
She says this so calmly and relaxed. There was a few curveballs or so. The two of you are lucky you still have your hair.
Well, actually, Dan, I have to say, you guys got hit with one of the curveballs, so I really appreciate seeing you guys and how you were keeping good cheer around adapting.
You were amazing.
I think I was really grateful that we have such a beautiful Kahal, a beautiful community that, and particularly Dan, you and Mary Rita were just so gracious and so helpful in every possible way. And there were so many people who just took things with such grace and compassion and good humor and helped each other. It was a beautiful community.
Well, it really was. And I especially want to call out Dan and Mary Rita for being the best bellman that you could have when you check into a university lobby and you have luggage for 3 weeks. And you have a meeting in 5 minutes to raise $250,000. Thank you. And Dan didn't say hello to me like, I don't know, 5 times a day.
But Judith doesn't hold any grudges, so we won't
I
mention it.
follow orders.
I fell in love with Dan. I hope you don't mind, Mary Rita. You too, though. Too.
You get in line,
I-
Judith.
Dan, I loved your hug button, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, that's right. God, no
was-
matter where I went, I had to hug her.
That's nice. So you get in the picture that Kallah is a pick for the MOSh retreat. Multiply it by 5, the numbers, right? It's somewhere around there. And you have an idea of how many people are there, and you have an idea of how many people haven't seen each other in so long. Now, there were a lot of new people there who were there for the first time, but there's a core group that we've been there, for like 5, 6, 7, 8 or more times. And the last time that was a Kallah in person was 2019.
18,
Yes,
18.
right. 2018 in Fort Collins. So a lot of us have not been the
No,
same.
it was in Amherst. Sorry.
In Amherst, right. The same physical location. So it was that kind of love fest, just like the MOSh retreat was in that way. And one other job that Janice had, which is, Kallah Summer Camp for Jewish Renewal peeps, is that Janice, you put together the Jessica Kate Meyer big band. So
That was
Jessica,
for Kabbalat Shabbat. We had a
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful, lively Kabbalat Shabbat. There was much dancing and just great, great joy around Kabbalat Shabbat. Mark, you've got a few pictures of that, don't you?
look at that. It's right
Kabbalat
there.
Shabbat. Wait, we don't see it yet.
It's not up?
No.
Oh, that's me. Wait a second. Oh, of course, I haven't shown it. There we go.
Yeah. So it was a really amazing event for Kabbalat Shabbat. As you can see, many people wear white at Kallah for Kabbalat Shabbat, and and Jessica Kate is the one with her back center to the group, and
Mark's down here in the edge where you can't see the
Yeah.
picture.
You can't see me in this
I think
picture.
there's others where we can see you. Maybe you could find some other Kabbalat Shabbat pictures. That
You
we
mean like,
can-
did it not advance?
There you go. So that's from the left to the right. That's Gayan Garin, Rebecca Goldsmith, and Shira Klein, who were singing with Jessica Kate Meyer. And then in the back row, we've got 2 drummers, Shoshana Jedwab and Elon Glazer. And then the woman on the right with her arms raised is Rabbi Brielle Page Rassler. And maybe you've got another one that shows you, Mark. 'Cause Mark
Yeah,
was-
but what you're not pointing out is all the way to the left.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
the wings. The wings.
Grazel.
The angel wings. Razel was there with her lit up angel wings. You should have some pictures of that too, Mark.
Oops.
There's
There's
There-
one.
there
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Go
here's
back,
some
go back,
dancing.
come on, go
No, well,
back.
this is dancing.
There's the,
And then there I am.
there he is.
Getting down.
And you didn't even feel
I
good.
think we were doing Miss Morla David.
That is Psalm 29, yeah.
Psalm.
Wait,
Yeah.
who's the guy playing the zither in the back? What is that? Who's
It's
that?
a bass, actually.
I understand.
And that's
That's
That's Jack, isn't it?
Jack Kessler.
Yeah,
That's Rabbi Moshe Prager's husband. He's a chazan, and he's
That's
also
Jack? Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it to me. Okay.
And I think there's another picture of the angel wings that are all lit up. There you
There.
go.
That's great. Yeah, that one's good.
I don't think she's ever had light up angel wings before, has she?
I don't think so. They've
I don't
always
think so. This
that's
was
the
a new.
That was a revelation to me.
high tech.
The light up.
And the halos lit up too.
And say
That's
what?
right.
Mary?
The
Halos lit up.
Oh,
The
yeah.
halos,
Them
right?
up at night.
For the angels, all the angels that,
Yeah.
what's her face? Laura
Actually,
Reeves distributed.
After seeing what was going on Friday night and Saturday, I thought a name for a book about Kallah would be Angels in Golf Carts, because golf carts kept going by with people with angel wings.
There's another shot of the angel wings.
It is. Is that amazing?
Yeah. I should have cropped out or no, or Rose wiping his nose.
And there's
And
there's
that's Rabbi Phyllis Berman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's some other pictures.
Yes.
and Arthur.
All right. And Arthur Waskow.
There's a wonderful picture where Phyllis and Arthur were dancing. These
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't think
yes.
I don't think
Yeah.
I
Yes,
put it
it's
in
so
here.
beautiful. Oh,
So what's next? Oh, there she is in all her
Yes, she
glory.
is.
Before Kabbalah Shabbat, we had a beautiful Shabbat walk. Mark and I were both in rehearsing for Kabbalah Shabbat, so we didn't actually get to attend the Shabbat walk, but it was a beautiful walk where everybody in their Shabbat white clothes made their
oh,
way from the one building across campus to the building, Sykes Student Center, where we had the Kabbalah Shabbat. And everyone had various stations. There were 7 stations that they stopped at along the way to help get into the Shabbat spirit. So by the time they arrived at Kabbalah Shabbat services, they had already been through a Shabbat experience, which was prepared and planned by Gila Rezel Raphael, Rabbi Gila Rezel Raphael, who you saw wearing the angel wings.
And
So
the angels, we got an opportunity to offer blessings to those who wanted it along the way. And they also invited us to wear our halos, all week in case people needed blessings and not just on Shabbat.
Just to answer a question or two in the chat, and then Mel has something I see you want to add. Kallah means a gathering. Kallah is a gathering. And it's a retreat for the Jewish renewal movement, yes. That this Kallah, not every Kallah is a retreat for the Jewish renewal movement, but we call it the Kallah. And that's what it is. And it usually happened every other year. It was always a biennial event, but it hasn't happened since 2018 in Amherst, where I must say the food was much better. But then again, Amherst is famous for its food. Yeah, Mel.
Oh, you gotta unmute.
Sorry. A question: is the image of angels with wings and halos, is that ever described in Torah, or is that something borrowed from Christianity?
Shabbat. Oh, all right.
Well, on Shabbat we sing Shalom Aleichem, right? And this is not in Torah; it's in Midrash. That the angels is a story that where the angels follow us home after shul on Friday night. This is in a traditional setting, right? And Renee, you want to tell the rest of the story? You want to leave it to me?
But to directly answer Mel's question, yes, the image of the wings and the halos, that's not, as far as I know, there's not a reference to that in Jewish
Not
life.
in Tanakh,
That's
no, not in the Bible.
As people who live in the American aesthetic of seeing the images around us, that's what it's an image of angels. Plus, where else can you get light up wings going on?
Well,
Yeah.
there are angels in Isaiah and Ezekiel.
But they don't
there's
describe-
there's lots of angels. There's just
Right.
no description of
No
the wings.
description of them.
Thing. That is,
Right.
as far as I know, that is Christian imagery, but it's never more beautifully manifest than at the ALEPH Kallah.
There are also descriptions of the in Deuteronomy. There's a description of the eagle's wings in Deuteronomy, and there's also
The
the wings
cherubim.
of Shekhinah. So those are there are wings. Halos, not so much, but
Right. Wings,
are
yes.
awesome.
Yeah. Any other questions? Or anybody else who was at Kallah want to throw something in here? Yeah, Dan, go.
So just in general, not about wings or halos. No, this was the first Kallah I've been to. Although Mary Rita and I did go to Ohala, which is for the clergy and students, the AOP, the ordination program, in January because Mary Rita was being ordained. But this is the first general Kallah, so it had a lot of first timers and a lot of other people that were, not in the program particularly. there were about 160 new people there, I was told.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
incredible.
And by new people, that's people who'd never been to a Kallah before. So people who hadn't, it was their first.
Right, that's
to
true.
this.
They may have been doing other things in ALEPH for a while, I don't know, but yeah, they weren't at Kallah. But the experience was wonderful. I was much better off socially than the other newbies because I knew the people from MOSh. And so that helped quite a bit, but I also got to meet a lot of other people, new people and other clergy, and it was really very, very fun. The ruach, the energy, the spirit, the joy, what you don't see at other places is weird dancing, wild dancing, ecstatic dancing, crazy dancing. As like you do here at Kallah, and the joy and the love and the and all that was just wonderful. So it's just all high energy stuff that was so good, and it's not even talking about the classes. I went to two I went to two 4-day classes, so I didn't spot around to 8 different things. And they were wonderful. One was
What'd you take? Go ahead, Dan.
yeah, Phyllis Berman. So this was on Sfirot and the Sfirot in our lives. So there was a psychological bent to it. And then the second one was Jill Hammer, who taught about Sefer Yetzirah, the book of creation, which is an incredibly strange alternative book of Kabbalah and creation, and very, very difficult stuff, very creative. And I felt lost much of the time, but I also felt honored to be able to be there and learn something. And she's a wonderful teacher. DeBarty.
Shamati. Anybody else want to talk about your classes? Go ahead, Mary Rita.
So I had also 2 4-day classes, and the one in the morning was for the love of Gaia. So we were focused on being really attuned to creation. We had a lot of intention of being outside, but because of the humidity, we didn't go outside as much, but were able to, thank God, use the windows to look at the things outside. And this included being able to use our creativity and art to show how our attuning and noticing and being connected with creation, that it connected us and how it spoke to us. And we built an altar with things that we bought, that we harvested from outside. And then we watched that altar kind of grow and wilt over 2 days. And the second one was women as guardians of culture. And that was for the first time, we can a red tent, Anita Diamant's book, The Red Tent. A red tent was constructed, and I had both of my classes in the room with the red tent, and which then was had open times when people could come in just for quiet, where women could come in, but also, yes, thank you, great picture, could come in for quiet. There were blessings. There was a night of divination and prayer, and it was just so wonderful. I was so sad to see it come down, and that really meant a lot. So thanks for showing the picture too. See, Dan, that's what it looked like.
Yes, as I was told several times, men were not allowed in.
Which was not true. There was just certain times that men were not allowed in.
Yeah, but they were armed, and I didn't argue with them.
And it also was a time that people honoring different ways of expressing themselves through gender. That there were times when there were specific gatherings for people. And then on Shabbat afternoon, Razel it was called Magic, but she used her Shahina cards and she just wove her magic for those that were there. Dubarti.
Shamati. Anybody else want to share anything about your classes? Sandy and then Scott and Mel?
Yeah, in the morning, I took the class with Rabbi Shefa Gold uh, with chanting, and it was called Love at the Center. And we chanted, we had spirit buddy time, and for me that was great because I met a young fellow from Kesher. That's a group for young people, and we really became spirit buddies. It was very lovely.
Can you explain what that is, Sarah?
It's like when two people study together or chat together in a breakthrough room. But
Yeah.
a spirit buddy is really one deeper than that. Really get to the soul of each other, which we did. And I exchanged phone numbers and emails with two people from that group, and I felt very honored to do that.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, and we did something very fun. My son-in-law, Pesach Lev, was in that group. And at some point, we were transitioning, probably back from a break. Yep, that's him. That's us. And and we did laughing yoga. So when we were at his home with his 5 sons, 2 grandchildren, and daughter-in-law, we roll on the floor and we roll on top of each other and we giggle. But we didn't do that in that room. We just giggled.
Great. Thank you, Sandy. So we did have a lot of fun too. Scott, what did you, Mel and then Scott.
Okay, question. I noticed many women wearing kippot, which isn't traditional for women to wear a kippot. And why has it traditionally been only men wearing kippot? And the other question is, I saw no women wearing tefillin. And why don't women wear tefillin?
I'll go next and I'll answer too. Mel, you didn't go to Shacharit.
Yeah. If you
true.
didn't get up for Shacharit for the first service in the morning, you would have seen women with kippot and tefillin for sure, and wearing the talit katan, the tzitzit that you wear all day long.
Yeah.
The fringes that you wear on a talit. Some people have what's called a talit katan, a small talis or talit that is basically it's kind of like an undershirt with the 4 fringes on the 4 corners, and it's usually only seen in a traditional environment. More traditional Jews wear them, but in the ALEPH world, hey, anything goes, and women are courageous and demanding of being able to articulate their Judaism in ways that perhaps it hasn't been so traditional. Yeah, Janice, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in the past 25 to 30 years or so, women have started taking it upon themselves mitzvot, which had been traditionally reserved for men, and which are available to but optional for women. Some of those mitzvot, which women have been exempted from over centuries, are things like wearing a talit or wearing a kippah or doing other commandments. And women have taken it upon themselves, really, I'd say in the last 30 years, to begin to accept these mitzvot and take them seriously. So that's why you see women. And the renewal movement, or the Jewish renewal, was founded with the idea of egalitarian practice, which means that both men and women take on these commandments. So,
and if you want a little introduction to things you have never seen, Google the image of tefillin Barbie. Just saying. Yeah, Tefillin Barbie was created by I'll see if I can locate it. Tefillin Barbie was created by a female sofer, someone who writes Torah scrolls and Tefillin scrolls, and she made she made little tiny Tefillin for a Barbie doll.
Good.
Scott, tell us
So-
about your morning class, especially.
I'm trying to remember. It's all a blur. No, seriously. I took this amazing class for the 4 mornings of Kallah with these 2 teachers. You wouldn't believe them if you saw them. They could help you just take a little idea, and by the end of the week, you could get up and tell a really good story for 5 minutes. So if anybody knows these people's names, yeah, Mark and Renee, it was a amazing experience. Thank
That
you
must
again.
be Jim, right?
What?
That must be Jim.
That's right. Thank you, Scott. I have to say, it was really an extraordinary experience getting to teach that class. It's just getting to teach a class live within Kallah has always been a real thrill, but there was something quite extraordinary about this class, and it was really fun having 4 moshniks in the class, in addition to a bunch of other people. But I thought it was really an exceptional experience for us as teachers.
Good. I'm glad. And then in the afternoon, I took aging to saging, which, I'm not that old and I'm already really wise, so I didn't really need to take that. And then on Shabbat afternoon, I had the honor of taking Reb Sarah's class on spiritual direction. It was just so great to hear her talk about what she has done for so many years. And I had a chance to meet a few more people that I hadn't met. And then a word about our sponsor, Dan Glazer. You might not believe this, but he's a real kibitzer. I mean, like every time I saw him, he just egged me on, right, Dan? I wouldn't have been like that without him.
What happened to Kallah stays in Kallah.
I didn't tell him about your kippah.
Or not.
My lips are sealed.
Oh yeah, I'll show you the kippah.
I like the kippah.
Yeah, it's nice.
How long is it going to be before he gets back, Mary Rita?
Aren't you all eager to come to the next Kallah? It's really a level, it really is, it's a cross between a retreat and summer camp. So there is a lot of carrying on that is sort of over and above the stuff we did at like the MOSh retreat.
But it also is serious, and I mean,
yes,
the services are amazing. You talked about all the dancing and stuff, but the music, it's like nothing you'll ever experience anywhere else. You really have to see it to believe it, and it's just such a spiritual shot in the arm, I guess.
Yeah, and Gail, because you took our retreat when we taught the last one a long time ago.
Gail and Bruce.
And Bruce, that's right. So the intensity of how much fun it can be, but also how intense it can be.
Right.
At our retreat, and also this week, when you have so much time and spaciousness to work with a group of people, it always happens is that the stories that are told are prayer. It's not even like prayer. They become prayers by the individuals who are sharing them, and it's just an honor to be witness to the unfolding of the folk tales that we teach. That's all fun and it's community building, but when we get to the personal storytelling, there's people are so courageous, and I'm proud of the kind of container. One of the main comments that people have for us is that they felt safe all week. And that it's really important for a workshop leader to hear that you've accomplished that, and because without that, not much else of any kind of depth is going to happen. Renee, were you going to say
Mary
something?
asked about the cabaret, and it was amazing. But I also want to talk a minute about, I think it was the night before it, the band Darshan that with Basa Schechter, Cantor Romu, and what was the guy's name? Eden Pearlstein, I think, who was a rapper. I guess he's a famous rapper. I don't follow famous rappers, but so he did like rap lyrics to, pieces of liturgy that they had put together. And it was it was just amazing. I'm really, I love that. I'm leading services at my other synagogue here Friday night, and I might actually use some of his lyrics. I'm not much of a rapper, but just as sort of poetry.
Nice.
God, I really want you to go and rap those.
I'll work on it. Maybe you guys could help me because, rapping is
Practice-
storytelling. It's all the
practice
same.
with us anytime.
Well, I know Mark can rap. I've heard him. He says that.
White
Yeah.
boys can't rap. Yes, let's just say.
Well, that guy's white, I guess, who did it. And he was really, really good. That blew me away. That was,
Yeah, great.
I mean, the whole week did, but
So if you're really getting a picture, if you could get up at 7 in the morning and be busy until 11 at night in prayer, in eating and workshops, and of course to find time just to sit with people and schmooze, and deepen personal relationships that you've had for years, or meet new friends. I met a number of new people that I fell in love with, and then the afternoon classes, and then dinner, and then evening program, and then after the evening program, getting together and singing with people or more. It's just a lot. A lot of self-care is necessary.
And then if you're me, you sneak away 3 or 4 days and go swimming in the nearby river.
And if you're me, you nap every afternoon.
Yes, and if you're me, you nap every afternoon.
guess Dan lost his kippah.
No, somebody rang the doorbell, and I think it's our new neighbor because I can hear him talking to somebody at the front door. So
Yeah, when he comes back, tell him we've been waiting for him.
I will. I will.
Right. We haven't said a
One
word.
of the things that I loved, I met so many people that not just, that I had not, that I met on, that knew me from different places online, and they'd say, oh, I know you from so-and-so. And, oh yeah, Mary Rita, I know you. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, you're from that Torah study I go to, or that Torah study I go to. Like that happened when we, met each other at the retreat or the Shabbaton, but there were so many people at the Kallah that I had relationships with, but it was the first time it was face to face. And then we met people, and then I loved that there were people that, wanted to know about the Zumagog, but of course Dan would move in and he would take all the credit for all the people when we were together. So, we'll let him have the Tesla.
Dan, your keyboard looks like what those ice pop that we used to have in school. I think used to get those from the ice cream guy that drove by the truck.
I have a lot of pride in it.
Yes, you do. We're proud of you. All right, another photograph. Now you're gonna start recognizing more people.
Sorry, Scott.
So from left to right, going counterclockwise, we have Meir Bracha, and looking happy with Sandy, and then we have Mitzi and Mary Rita and Scott.
Can you cut me out of that picture?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did catch you at a bad moment. And then that is Rabbi Sean Zevet next to me. He's my twin brother from a different mother. And we always have a good time. He took that picture at MOSh's ceremony. And the next one, I caught Vera Gale by surprise too, next to Ellen Weaver, and below
Got a distinct deer in the headlights look there.
Yeah, it was. Actually, I had a better picture than that I found after. And so at the bottom, that's me telling my story at Shulamit's storytelling gathering, and Renee telling her story. Then we got more me and Chaya Lerner. That's Rabbi Mark
Leibowitz.
That's Rabbi Mark Leibowitz, and I'll tell you, this is one of those funny things. I have never met him before, but my uncle and his uncle were roommates in the early 1950s for a while.
And Chaya just was dying for me to meet him. And there's Shulamit, and there's Shulamit, looking so gorgeous.
Glamorous.
And, okay, there's another great picture of you, Scott.
This one's a little better. At least I'm not chewing.
There's Devora just proving that she was there. And Mira looks better too, Mira Gale. And Renee peeking in. And me unsuccessfully taking a good selfie as usual. I think now you're going to see some. Oh, there's that picture. That's such a gorgeous photo, Sandy, of you and Pesach. So, Judah, tell us what we're looking at here.
These are the paper cuts, right? From
Yeah.
Yes, so I was with you in the morning, Mary Rita, but in the afternoon I took this amazing paper cutting class with a woman named Diane Paley, who told us that this was an art that had been for hundreds of years that the Jewish people made. And in the Holocaust, all the paper cutters were killed except 12 people. And so they formed an alliance to pass this forward. And our teacher was taught by one of the teachers that they shared this with. So she was on a mission to teach us everything, all her insider tricks, and she wants us to keep doing it and to pass it on. She invited us to come stay with her in Albuquerque for 2 weeks. But anyway, you can see the big Hamsa in the middle is actually mine. And I don't know, to the left.
The Chamsa is the one that looks like a hand.
Yes, yes. It's the, yeah, mine, she called it organic, because if you see the difference between the one next to me, the purple one, well, both on each side of mine are, those two are spectacular. I made mine in 2 days, theirs are in 4 days. But Miriam was in the class and she made a Hamsa. It's to the left. You can't see it right now. But anyway, it was a wonderful class. I mean, this woman, the teacher she's really an international treasure. She makes huge paper cuts. She's been commissioned by a lot of churches in the South of the United States, believe it or not. They like to have original Hebrew in their permanent art collections. So that was very unexpected. She's really a treasure. Diane.
So Mary, that is a replication of an art rendering of a Chamsa. A Chamsa has been used for many centuries to ward off unwanted spirits. It's also a sign of good luck. Chamsa comes from the same word for the number 5, which is chamesh.
In Arabic, it's 5.
But in the it's actually a Middle Eastern rather than a Jewish symbol.
Yes, that's right.
And in Muslim traditions, they call it Yad Fatima, the hand of Fatima, rather than Hamza.
I have a question for Judith.
What is her? Wait, so hold on a second. What is her name? You mean the artist, Gail?
Diane. I'll put it, or we'll put it in.
Okay, put it in the chat.
Yeah, because you can look her up. Go on her website, which is Diane Paley, Palley.
Oh, it's true.
.com.
Oh, you're telling me.
Yes.
Palley.
Yes.
No, one L.
One Palley. Palley. Gotcha. Dan?
One L. Okay.
It was me.
Okay. Mary, was that your question? You have something else?
I wanted to say that I had a religious experience last week, even though I did not go to Kallah.
Please.
Yes, I had the great honor of dog sitting for Sadie last week.
Yeah, we know. Renee and I dog sat for Sadie too. Yeah, that's a high. Yeah, especially when she licks you. All right, so this is the penultimate, and I always use that word incorrectly, photograph to share. Judith, you don't have a mask on in that photograph.
And you
can
Janet,
say it again.
Oh, I took it off just for the photo, and Janet took that photo. Thank you.
Oh,
guys.
and look, Judy Rakusen's in the back.
Yeah, so if you look over Judith's, well, as we're looking at her over on the left side, there's Judy back there.
In pink or peach.
And then you can see the wings that don't light up over Judith's other shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And you can see Sandy's son-in-law
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
And there's Gina Renee. Gina was in our class.
That's right. Another
Oh,
person
right.
who
To
was
Judith's right, sitting down.
Eagles.
Nice. I
Deborah
think I left
Lesk,
you for last, Judith.
Deborah Lesk is behind Judy.
Yeah.
And Arthur.
Isn't this where Phyllis and Arthur were dancing?
Yes.
So can y'all see the image that's next to Mark that says, ask me about my Zoomagog? I don't know if we explained that really. Mark made magnets for everyone of that, exactly what you're saying. The ask me about my Zoomagog, and all the Moshniks were wearing ask me about my Zoomagog buttons the whole week. And Mark gave us all little QR codes so that if somebody did ask you about the Zoomagog, once you knew that they were interested, they could just point their camera at the QR code and pull up the website. It was just, I have to say, genius if I say so myself.
And when Rabbi Elliot Ginsburg giving a little talk at the fundraiser at the cabaret, he referred to Mark as Rabbi Mark asked me about my Zoomagog Novak.
Yeah, I got a shout out.
And they also misnamed him as Mark, introduced Mark Novak, and out came.
That's right.
Elliot
And out came Rev
Ginsburg.
Elliot.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. By the way, we do have what? Dan Glazer? No way.
Wow.
No, this is a machloket. This is definitely a argument here.
No. You're
We'll
Shammai
take-
and
we'll-
I'm Hillel. You're
Yeah, take it-
Shammai and I'm
well,
Oh, I
Hillel.
didn't know, Dan.
Let's take it
I didn't know.
outside.
Credit where credit is due. Dan Glazer came up with the genius idea of having a QR code. And then he didn't just come up with the idea. He then proceeded to get more people to focus on the one that he had than on anyone else's. The competition was fierce.
Yes, I'm the winner of the 1964 Tesla. I know.
Which you'll be driving to the Zoomagog on Shabbos morning.
But you know, Dan, if we can't actually find the Tesla, we'll like make you some cinnamon buns or something.
Actually, if you could just get me an action figure of Nikolai Tesla, that would be
That would be your second choice.
that would be my second choice.
Very important. We do have a few buttons left. And if any of you who would like one, now it's just not, to wear in your home. It's to, to
And
put
they are,
on,
they're very well thought out buttons. They attach with magnets, so you don't have to put holes in your clothes.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Right. Gail,
well-
Gail has you. I see your hand up, Gail,
Yeah.
and you want one. I know.
Well, I'm
So-
going to the Parliament of World Religions next in August.
Whoa,
So
yes.
10,000 people there.
Yes. Oh my God.
Wait, I got mildly distracted. Where are you going with 10,000 people? Burning Man.
The Parliament of World Religions.
Oh, that would be genius to
in
have a
Chicago.
Zoomagog
It's in
button on.
Chicago.
Okay, we're
Don't
gonna have to
forget
see you
don't
before
forget
then.
to take the QR code also. We'll put
Right.
one on the button.
I got it. I can always mail it to. 'Cause you don't live that close to here, but if you're going to
Right.
be anywhere near us,
Yeah, and if not, we'll mail it to you.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's awesome. And that is the end of the slideshow.
Oh.
So if we have any anybody have any questions that you'd like to ask, or now like you can't wait for 2 years from now? There will be a next MOSh retreat, and I must say, and I know I am a little favored, but I think our MOSh Kabbalat Shabbat Friday night services was like,
Even better.
yeah.
Even better.
I think so.
They had a bigger band, but
Janice and Dina and
Yeah,
Mark.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was
that was-
sublime.
DK.
So since it'll be 2 years till the next Kallah, just sign up for the next MOSh retreat.
and
Mark,
we're having
this is your moment to boost the fall.
That's right. And
It's a lot of
and
fun.
November 3rd and 4th is we're going to have another in-town Shabbaton.
Which is
So-
also the weekend of Reb Novak's birthday.
Reb
So-
Novak. That sounds like an old guy. She couldn't remember my name.
It sounds more
30
impressive if
years.
you're still having a birthday weekend.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to be doing is a concert on Saturday night.
Oh.
And
It's
it'll be
celebration.
and a celebration.
Rabbi Mark's birthday.
Yeah, a biggie, 7-0. Mel, and then Dan has his hand up again.
Yeah, comment. Not so much about individual classes, but to be in that huge cafeteria during meals and see different tables erupt into nigunim or different chants. Not that the melodies are always correct in terms of my particular background, but I never had seen an environment that had so much joy.
Ah,
So if I had one word to sum up the whole Kallah, it would be joy.
beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Mel. Dan, top that.
Well, the no, the other thing which was wonderful for me was seeing all the different rabbis and cantors. Beautiful voices, by the way. It was wonderful. Um, the Reconstructionist movement, by the way, does not have a cantorial program for some reason. So a lot of the Reconstructionists go to ALEPH or AOP for the cantorial program. And there's some absolutely beautiful and very creative singing. And it was very good seeing different services being done by different rabbis and all the creativity and everything. So just that. I didn't make it to every Shacharit service, which was at Oh Dark 100 in the morning, but it was, but a lot of the other services were just wonderful. So that in itself is an experience that would be great if everybody would see that sort of thing.
Yeah.
My last point is that I've listed all the names of the moshniks. I'm up to 27, by the way.
Wait, I only have 22 plus 2 for Shabbos. Who do you have?
Oh, you missed two. You missed two that Dan put in. Two of our sometimes visitors, Dvor Tucker, Fick,
Right,
Yeah.
and
Linda Landis.
Landis, who sometimes comes.
right.
So-
People who have been with us for sure.
And
Yeah.
Linda Landis was in that.
Yeah.
You're
so
very
I-
competitive, Dan Glazer. I just noticed now. Speaking of services,
Booker T.
I used to be the person who was in charge of lining up all the service leaders throughout the week, and I always gave myself a service that I love to lead, and I got to lead that service this year because I asked for it from the person who I hand the job over to, happened to be Devorah Fick. Which is leading a mincha. Now that's the afternoon service, and that would have been the very first service that people would have come to arriving at Kallah on Monday. So they would have come to my service, then dinner, and then the opening ceremonies on Monday night. And I love that service because, I mean, you know me. I like to welcome people. And I have some tricks up my sleeve to do that in a very fun way, using the traditional liturgy, and it was really really wonderful, and it's an honor to greet people in that way. And later on in the week, people said to me that it really opened the door, for them during the week. So it's just when you get those kinds of when you've worked so hard, right, and you get that kind of feedback. It makes it all worthwhile for sure.
So Soch and Dvorak and I, plus Stacia and Lynn Harper, led Minha on Thursday for 17 Tammuz. And so that we had three moshniks there, and we did a really creative service that we put together, and then we were all I think we were all Hashba'ah people, so that was also pretty powerful to do, picking up on the Ma'ariv of the night before. If anybody like it, and Mark, you might have been there, but they literally had three pots which they smashed to represent the destruction of the temple. And so we all had a shard, when we did the minha, but it's really great, to have that opportunity to lead. And there were so many different styles of people leading. And I loved your service, Mark. That was just so great. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary Rita. Good night, Gail. Thanks. You have another class. Wow, good for you. See you on Shabbat morning,
See you
hopefully.
Shabbat.
Great, great. Thanks, Gail. Thanks for coming. Mary, you asked a question. Oh, you know, you said we missed you. You missed me on Shabbat. You know, I am so grateful to Rabbi Deb Kolodny for filling in for me, and she's going to be doing it again for sure. And I'm trying to line up one or two other people to be able to do that. I don't know if you're aware that maybe I've taken off 4 Shabbatot in the last 3.5 years, and this is not sustainable. And so, and I got a lot of wonderful feedback about Shabbat. You know, she's not me. Yeah, that's a good thing.
And I'm sure Alessandra did an amazing job.
Alice, well, the best feedback was about Alessandra. Yes. As our holy Gazumbai, for sure. Alrighty. You know, we don't have to go to quarter of. Oh my gosh, we went actually a little longer than I thought we were going to go. Any last words? Did you hear what you wanted to hear about Kallah? Susan, Rachel, Roxanne, Bruce, Alessandra, Mary, and the rest of us, did we share what we wanted to share about Kallah?
So
Nobody.
what would you say is the best part?
For me?
I think Dan
Oh.
and Mel both nailed it. Joy.
Well, I know that Mark enjoyed the most was driving the cart.
Yeah, I didn't do it enough this time.
And I have to say, I enjoyed most being in the courts.
I have to admit that our class was so extraordinary that it was that was the highlight of the week.
It really was. It was for me too. It was really just an amazing experience. There were people who it was just amazing.
Yeah.
So come, y'all.
But
come.
also the story I told at Shulamith Storytelling Gathering. We said there was about 150 people there, and I tell a story that hopefully I'll tell at the next MOSh retreat. That is, it's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
It is. It's kind of funny. And it's always a delight to tell a story about the days when I was a choir boy.
I think everything, it was hard. The very first night, I think people said, you know, I know that you'll have FOMO, you know, fear of missing out. But everything, I mean, like, I really wanted to make choices of like not going to something and because I need a breather. And I just couldn't do it. There was just too much that was too good. And I wanted to be with the people, you know, so and your anniversary we ate outside, so that was also really good.
That was another high point.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was another highlight for me. We had Mark and I had no particular plan of a thing to do for our anniversary dinner, and I just mentioned to several motionists, you know, we're going to be outside at a table, and all of a sudden this whole crowd gathered at a outdoor table, and it was really sweet.
Yeah, we laughed a lot then too, didn't we?
Yeah.
All righty, my sweet friends, thank you so much. And it's really wonderful to be able to share a little bit of the taste of Kallah with you all. And also for for us who were at Kallah, just to relive a little bit of it in a very positive way.
Yeah.
Anything else? All righty. Laila Tov, everyone. See you on Shabbat morning. Oh, yeah, on Shabbat morning. I thought I had something else to say, but otherwise, see you Shabbat morning, and good night.
Good night. Lila Tov.
Lila Tov.
Lila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Thank you all for coming.